What is up, Nickel City Mafia? Welcome to the Rush Hour Sunday edition. And yes, the Bills weren't playing today, but we're still going to talk football. A lot of crazy things happening in the NFL today. We're going to talk about, Jake's experience. He was camping during the game, and it's like, Jake, I thought you put everyone on notice that we cannot go camping. That can't be at Eddie Winning's birthdays, but you went camping
Yeah.
Thursday
Yeah.
night. Um, so we're going to ask him about that. We're going to get into our top 10 power rankings. We're going to talk about what they were going into week 2 and what we think they may be as we exit week 2. So Jake, first of all, how you doing? And talk to me about this camping adventure, man.
Yeah, I'm doing great. So we decided this was I think it was before the schedule came out because we ended up booking the site at Allegheny, which is about an hour away from where we are. It's right on the border of Pennsylvania and New York State. And awesome campsite. We ended up getting 3 different cabins. They were all right next to each other. And it was for my father-in-law's 60th birthday. He just turned 60 on Tuesday. Shout out to Prison Mike. We call him Prison Mike, my father-in-law. It was a fantastic time. Yeah, so the story behind Prison Mike, he wore a bandana one time, and he looked like Prison Mike from The Office, so we call him Prison Mike now. So, hilarious. Nonetheless, so we booked this campsite, right? And turns out the Bills are playing that Thursday night. We're not going to cancel, right? So we made sure that we had a way of watching the game, So luckily, where we were situated, most of the campsites, you don't have great signal. But in a certain spot where I was able to get the game and not have even any buffering issues. So I was able to watch it on YouTube TV. If that was to fail, then the plan was to go to the Seneca Allegheny Salamanca Casino. So that was my backup plan. So no matter what, I was going to watch that game because, listen, I'm not missing a Buffalo Bills game. It's just not going to happen. And the best part was, Mike, not only did we get it, we're watching on our phones and stuff, but we actually got the radio. So we were listening to the radio broadcast and watching it on YouTube TV. So it was kind of cool. A little unique way of doing it, but man, what a way to celebrate the start of our camping trip. Nice Bills win.
Great game.
Let's be real.
Yeah.
You had a helicopter already booked in case you weren't able to get signal. The helicopter was going to fly in and take you into town so you can get a good signal on a big TV.
That's right. Yep.
That's awesome, man. I'm glad you were able to watch it. And of course, we haven't talked since the big game. And what were your thoughts?
Oh, it was absolutely beautiful. Statistically, you look on paper and it's like, how do they score 31 points? Because, Josh Allen didn't put up the glaring numbers he normally does. And we didn't even have a 100-yard rusher or receiver or anything like that. Mm-mm. But I think the way that we won this football game was so impressive to me. Everyone, again, contributed. And how about those UB guys? Cam Lewis and Jamarcus Ingram. Are you kidding me? Just fantastic. Everyone is stepping up, and it really is. The Buffalo Bills roster, I think, this year epitomizes the next man up mentality. And they have. Under Sean McDermott, I feel like they have done that as it is, but this year more than ever. So just love to see it, man. I was so excited. Just a fantastic, complete football game.
Yeah, 100%. I just want to give a couple of quick updates. We're going to go around the NFL today. And first, let's start with the Bills, right? Taron Johnson. Sean McDermott said Johnson's forearm injury is still new. They're still figuring out what's going on with him. But they're not ready to put him on IR yet. So that's good news, I think, that they think he could return within 4 weeks.
Yep.
On the other side of it, good and bad news, right? Bernard goes out. We're thinking it's a torn pectoral. And it's not. It's a strain, and which is going to keep him out about a month. So they probably are going to put him on IR, but still, that was better news than we had heard initially, thinking that it was torn, and we probably would have lost him for the season, most likely, or very, very near the end. But how about your guy, Balen Spector, coming in?
I know.
And showing up.
Did a really nice job filling. You could see it on certain plays. He's not the most athletic guy in the world, but he very, very good football IQ, and he knew exactly where to be, right place at the right time. So he makes up for that lack of athleticism with those instincts. So gotta love it.
Other than that first play that he made a mistake on, not covering the outside, he was golden.
All right. Well, Go Bills podcast is challenging us with he'll throw a super chat if you play the train horn and everyone dances to the shout song. Well, we don't have the shout song, but we can dance to the train horn. So, you got any animals around? They're gonna get scared here. Here we go.
I just hit him with a dab. I haven't done a dab in forever.
I'm doing my moves from the my robot.
You know what? I would
These
get up
babies.
on top of a table if I could right now and just jump and break one. I mean, that's in true Bills Mafia style.
Yeah. Well, we can't do the shout song, Brett, because I think they would copyright us on that one. So don't have that one ready to go. But good stuff on the Bills. Like I said, it was a huge win. I think it turned a lot of heads, right? There was media, even some of the guys on our AFC's the Summit show might have had to take a second look here, saying that this was going to be a victory for the Dolphins. I think the media outside of Buffalo was thinking that as well, and the Bills show up and dominate that game. And prayers out to Tua. We hope he's okay. I haven't heard any updates other than he's still thinking through things. You guys hear any updates on that one?
No, nothing new on that. Apparently he's not going to retire. He's consulting a lot of different doctors and whatnot, but just awful situation. A little bittersweet on the win just because of that, right?
Yeah, exactly. Never want to see that.
It's just a question of when he comes back.
Yeah.
I was a NASCAR fan at one point, and I remember Dale Jr. going out for like 3 months and then coming back. And so you don't know if could be for the rest of the year. It could be 6 weeks.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, because the more you get, the easier it is to get additional ones, right? And we saw that. It was kind of like it wasn't a big hit. He kind of just ran into DeMar Hamlin, and and that did it. So scary stuff. Hope he's okay. If he chooses to come back, great. I'll be cheering for him. So it was my buddy, my friend. I'd be like, dude, you need to retire now. But he's going to make that decision, talking to all the doctors out there, all the experts that know a lot more than I do. So I do want to go around the horn. And there were some big injuries today in the NFL. I want to kind of go through those as well. Cincinnati Bengals defensive back B.J. Hill suffered a hamstring. He did not return against the Chiefs. How about that game, folks? Mm-hmm. Chiefs and Bengals. Ooh, boy.
I didn't think that was interference.
Oh, well, if Weston's out there.
Terrible call.
If Weston's out there, he actually put the Twitter video in our Discord. I've looked at it a couple times, Jake. I put the rules right under it. It does look like it was, according to the rules, the way it's spelled out, that it was a PI. But I can see why. Apparently, I didn't watch that game, but if they weren't calling that and they were letting him play all game, that is something I could see me being a fan of the Bengals being upset about. Right. So I can see it going either way, but Weston, I'm supporting Weston here because I said, all right, let me look at the rules. I got it listed in the Discord. If you come up on the back of them, right, if you have contact, and that actually is PI. Even though he's making a play on the ball, which I think they should change that, right? Because he's coming over and trying to make a play on the ball, but he did hit the guy at least a second before the ball got there. So, say what it is. Thank you for the super chat, Mr. Go Bills Podcast. He said, hey, let's go Buffalo.
Let's go Buffalo.
The Bills make me wanna
shout.
There we go.
They got to do the nobody circles the wagons like the Buffalo Bills.
And nobody. Yeah, exactly.
Sorry, Brett. A little more enthusiasm maybe next time. Next win, I'll tell you what. We're going to do something a little crazy. I'm not going to say what it is, but we're going to do something a little crazy.
All right. Well, let me go around the horn here. Again, NFL injuries, the most up-to-date that I have. Cleveland Browns, wide receiver David Bell, hip and running back Pierre Strong, hamstring were ruled out against Jaguars. Broncos defensive lineman John Franklin Myers exited Sunday's game against the Steelers and was evaluated for concussion. Green Bay Packers, how about this? They get the win without Jordan Love there. I did not think they would win that game, but they did.
Yeah.
Malik Willis.
Yeah, right. Offensive lineman Jordan Morgan was ruled out against the Colts. Colts defensive lineman DeForest Buckner was ruled out after being carted off against the Packers. Defensive end Laiatu hip was ruled out. Jacksonville, the Jaguars running back Tank Bigsby and Andre Cisco did not return against the Browns. Kansas City Chiefs, and Weston made a note of this in the Discord. Isaiah Pacheco suffered an ankle injury against the Bengals and is undergoing tests per head coach Andy Reid. And Weston said he was seen wearing a boot after the game. Chargers. How about those Chargers? I mean, one of the Hardballs is off to a fantastic start. But man, they had Justin Herbert told reporters that he underwent x-rays after the game against the Panthers. Per The Athletic, Herbert, who did not miss a play, said he got rolled up on in the second half, and we'll know more about his status in the coming days. Linebacker Junior Colson did not return against the Panthers. Rams, this is a big hit without Pua. What's the guy's name? I would get it wrong.
Nakua.
What's it? Puka Nakua. With him already hurt, Cooper Kupp gets hurt, suffered an ankle injury in the first half versus the Cardinals, and did not return.
Cardinals look great.
Oh my goodness! Thank goodness we didn't get that version in week 1 because Marvin Harrison Jr. said, "Hello NFL, I am here, I am real." All the hype was true.
But Trey White was the one guarding him.
Oh, I heard
that was tough.
I heard. Well, I've only seen it on Twitter. The guy that I seen it said he thinks it was all Trey, but
he got cooked.
At least the first one was Trey. It was definitely Trey.
Was it definitely? Yeah. That's rough. So Cooper Kupp suffered an ankle injury in the first half versus the Cardinals, did not return. Safety John Johnson III suffered a shoulder injury. There's a big one here. Minnesota Vikings wide receiver Justin Jefferson did not return after suffering a quad contusion versus the Niners. Let's see. He's considered day-to-day. Good news there.
Yeah, he said he's going to play next game, so that's good news. But yeah, just again, another one. It's like,
how about this? A 97-yard touchdown and quarterback. It's not coming on my
Sam Darnold. Did you see that throw? Did you guys see that throw?
Yes.
That was insane.
Sam Darnold, good for him, man. He's been around the league. Good for him. Good for him.
Yep.
And they beat the Niners. Oh my goodness.
Right.
So let's see. The Patriots.
I was a little upset with that win though, because we do have the Vikings number 2 pick.
That's a great point. I mean, we were all expecting them to kind of have a very bad record, but they're 2-0 now.
Yep.
Oh my goodness. Sam Darnold, I feel like he got was it a few years back when he was with the Panthers and McCaffrey was still there. I think he got off to a good start initially in that year, and then something went wrong. I think it was McCaffrey got injured, or he did, and then it went downhill from there. So we'll see if they can keep this going. But he's got great weapons, and their defense. Did you see that defense today? Holy moly!
Yeah,
unreal. And then you can see here, did I finish that up? Jawan Bentley, shoulder, and O'Shane Examines, knee were ruled out against the Seahawks. Saints, tight end Taysom Hill did not return against the Cowboys. How about the Saints dropping 40-something points on the Dallas Cowboys? Holy, what is going on in the NFL today? I mean, I thought, so we have this, I'm sure most of you guys get into pick'ems, right? Weekly pick'ems. I thought this week was an easy one. Right. And now I'm like, oh my God, I did horrible. And I know Brett and Sean in our group chat were saying the same thing. They're like, the records weren't looking too good. New York Giants kicker Graham Gano did not return against the Commanders with a hamstring. Here's some big ones here on the Jets. This is a big one. Couple. CJ Mosley did not return against the Titans after taking a cart to the locker room. Linebacker Jermaine Johnson II is feared to have suffered a torn Achilles, per head coach Robert Saleh. That guy's been an up and coming star. He was a first rounder a few years back, and man, he's that's a big loss for them for sure. Hate to see that. Let's see, Seahawks, couple more. Jerome Baker did not return with a hamstring injury against the Patriots. Boy, Patriots almost were 2-0. Could you imagine? I'm like, what is going on?
Yeah.
Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Defensive tackle Vita Vea is believed to have suffered an MCL sprain against the Lions. Me and Rappaport reporting on that. And the last one, Tennessee Titans running back Tahai Spears. Hope I said that right. Did not return against the Jets.
Tajay Spears.
Tajay? Okay, thank you for correcting me.
Titans were close.
Yeah, they were. I mean, 2 AFC East teams in nail biters today. It really could have went the other way in both of them easily. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm not gonna chirp on Anthony too much on the AFC Summit, but I was gonna have his clip or him talking bad about the Bills and that we're gonna be losing this game and we're a team that's gonna be fighting just to get 9 or 10 wins. I don't know, but
hey, it's still early. Anything can happen.
It is early.
Take it one game at a time, but
exactly. So his
it looks
team
good. It looks good so far.
Yeah, his team lost to the Niners. I mean, the second best team in the NFL last year, and still one of the. I know they lost today, but still one of the better teams. And then they beat a team that they should have beat. Same with us, right? We beat the Cardinals. Thank goodness we got the version of the Cardinals we did. I like to think that was just our defense shutting them down, right?
That's what I'm saying. We got that version of the Cardinals.
We shut down the Dolphins.
That's true.
Right? Yeah.
And then the Dolphins, who many people had us losing, we win that game. And again, I think that's turned some heads. And people are like, okay, what's his name? Nick Wright. So I think I shared a video in the Discord about, normally I don't like things he said, but he basically hit it on the nail when he said people were overrating the losses that we had, the safety losses, Mitch Morse, because they had aged and you can see it, right? And if you look at all of them that have left us, they're not doing too well, other than Steph Diggs, of course, which we knew he would.
Yeah.
But I mean, Bean knew what he was doing when he released these guys. And so Wright said, yeah, I think we overrated the losses of those people. And we here in our community, we've been saying that the whole time. Like, we lost these guys, but they were Asian. Jordan Poyer, you saw it live and in color on Thursday night with James Cook taking it to the house and him taking a bad angle there. Love Poyer, but still, it was time to move on, and I think we did the right thing.
Mitch Morris and Gabe Davis have not made the Jaguars any better.
Yeah,
right. If anything, they look worse than they did last year, which is kind of crazy. They have all this firepower.
That was promised,
right? Yeah. Yeah.
So let's go around the NFL again. We've already kind of touched on a few of them, but I'm just gonna, I'll pick a few games. You guys, and just a few games that surprised you, and I'm gonna start with my son. My son loves the Ravens. You folks know this. I'm sorry to say this. I'm embarrassed to say this, but we also have good friends. Oh, come on! You raise a child. I'm Buffalo, born and bred. And for your child, I did something wrong, Jessica. Did something wrong. But he does love the Bills too. He supports me all the time when they're playing. But they have Vegas. Fly from the West Coast all the way to the East Coast. There's no way the Ravens should lose this game. And they do 26-23. I mean, guys, that was insane. And I know Chris, and we have a group chat with Chris and Rick. Rick used to be on our channel, used to do the fantasy football. Chris does the fantasy football now with Jeremy. Dude, they were losing their minds. So I said, you're so quiet when your team's playing, but when the Bills are playing, they're just chirping it up left and right. I said, where are you? And they're like, yeah, Harbaugh, got to get rid of them.
Yeah.
But the Ravens have had big losses in the offseason on both the offensive and defensive lines, which this doesn't surprise me. Crosby had his way today.
Oh, he did.
Yeah, he really did.
He was dominant. You're not kidding there. So let's see. One other game that surprised me. Let's see. Well, I will say this. Again, I already mentioned it. Harbaugh from the Chargers, the coach, getting out of the gate 2-0. Yeah. I knew he would have no problem with Carolina. Carolina is obviously the worst team in the league. But I'll give you my second team here that was a big surprise. Of course, that's New Orleans. Blowing out Dallas 44-19. Jake, what's going on over there in New Orleans that we didn't know about? Or is it, Dallas is just not as good as we thought? What's happening there?
Derek Carr talked about his offseason and how he really changed things up, and he kind of went back to his roots, back where he was squatting and doing more, heavier reps and stuff like that. And just his whole training regime has totally changed. And he's like, it just wasn't working. For the last few years, he just hasn't been that guy that everyone thought he was going to be. He had that one really good year with the Raiders back in like 2020 now. It's been a long time. And since then, he just hasn't elevated his game. It's gotten worse and worse, it seems like, every year. So I think it starts with him, of course, and he's been looking fantastic. I mean, today didn't really have to do a whole lot, but went 11 for 16, 243 yards, 2 touchdowns. Did throw an interception, but guy looks unbelievable. And then, of course, Alvin Kamara has one of his world-famous Alvin Kamara fantasy football heydays, right?
Yeah.
Has 115 yards, 3 touchdowns, and a receiving touchdown and 2 catches, 65 yards. I mean, guy was just insane. But it does surprise me a little bit because Dennis Allen is a defensive-minded head coach. So, and I will say this. I think the defense has really stepped up. I mean, even you have some of those wily vets there, such as Tyrann Mathieu and, Cam Hayward and or not Cam Jordan, and some young guys coupled in with that. So I'll tell you what, I thought the Saints were pretenders. They beat the brakes off the Carolina Panthers in week 1. But then they come into Dallas and they really made a statement week 2 here. So, yeah, 100% surprised by it. But, and maybe they squeak out a win, like in a different scenario. But I never in a million years thought they would blow out Dallas like they did. Just crazy.
Yeah, go ahead, Jessica. Looks like you had something to say there.
But the Bills showed everyone, how to beat the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah.
Just run it down their throats, go heavy. They can't stop the run with their light linebackers.
Yeah. That's definitely true.
It's like Kamara jumped in a time machine and went back, 5 years ago? He was always one of the top fantasy football folks taken off the board. Past few years haven't been like that, and bam, just lights it up, like you said, Jake.
I mean, you even looked like Jamal Williams had 8 carries for 39 yards. He was averaging over almost 5 yards a carry. Like, everyone got to eat a little bit in this offense today. Crazy.
Yeah, I want to say hi, everyone, real quick in the channel. Chad the Chief, always good to see you, sir. Trek Reviewer coming in. Hope you stick around, Trek Reviewer. Want to help you help us talk about the power rankings, top 10 power rankings. We're going to get into those and see if they've changed from last week to this week. Early week 3 power rankings. Let's see. Brett from the Go Bills podcast, thank you so much. And again, really appreciate the super chat, Brett. Really do. And then my dad's out there. Thank you, Dad. Bill's Bunker. Jake, another Jake out there. Yeah. What's it say there? Let's see.
8 days
until Monday night football.
By the way, I want to give Jake a shout out, Mike.
Yeah.
I think I told you this, but he met up with me at the opener last week. And he was just kind of traveling around interviewing people. And he did interview me. However, the audio was like muted or bad or something. And he's like, it didn't come through. So I am going to be going to the Bills-Chiefs game with our very good friend Sean Kula. And hopefully he can meet up with us and do another interview. So I'll let you know about that. But shout out to you, Jake. You were a great time, brother.
Yeah, kind of odd that the audio went on you. I saw him do a lot of shorts.
I know, right?
Like, what the heck's going on here? Mr. Jake Varco from Bill's Bunker. I mean, fix that audio problem. This is Jake Podger over here from Nickel City Mafia. You got to get him. You got to record him. But yeah, he did some fun stuff. I watched it. It was pretty cool. Chad the Chief, man, what a game. Glad we got the win. Definitely was not pretty. PM15 cost us 2 possessions, and the rookie Steele needs to hang on to the ball, and Mahomes knows better. I'm glad we have the best kicker in the NFL. Absolutely. Hey, I'm just saying, let's look at the interceptions. Pat Mahomes versus Josh Allen right now. Everyone's always talking about Josh Allen and his turnovers. 8-0. Goose eggs.
I think it was maybe Joe DiBiase from WGR tweeted out. He said Pat Mahomes has the most called back interceptions since 2018 or something like that. Just wild. It was like 17 or 18 interceptions called back. Crazy.
Jessica, what are a couple of other games that surprised you?
Not necessarily surprised me, but I really liked that the Steelers kept on winning and are first place in the North.
I love that too. Yeah, I'm here for that. Just keep that streak alive. I don't want to see Mike Tomlin ever have a losing season. I love that streak. I think it's so cool. It's amazing.
Mm-hmm. The biggest one that I liked was how dominant the Cardinals were over the Rams today.
Yeah,
it's just amazing. I think we had that same team, but our defense was able to slow them down and stop them in that second half.
Yeah,
I mean, they still put up 28 points against us. I know their
Yeah.
offense was technically only 22 because of the 2-point conversion, but
Mhm.
like they still put on a good showing. James Conner still had a hell of a day. Greg Dortch had a nice day against us, but we were able to neutralize, what they didn't do even a quarter of what they did to the Rams today. So very, very impressive. I agree with you, Jessica. I think we got that version of the Cardinals. I think our defense just rose to the occasion, plain and simple.
Mhm.
Yeah, I do think they schemed probably a little bit better for Harrison this week. He was obviously a little nervous, and they definitely schemed. But yeah, I think it was all our defense. You're not going to take that away from us at all. But what about you, Jake? Any other games?
The worst game of the day was Giants Commanders.
Awful.
Hey,
But shout out to the young cat, Austin Siebert, 7 field goals, 7 for 7. First game as a Washington Commander. I mean, that's crazy, man. 7 field goals.
Malik Neighbors had a nice game, and that's all that matters for me. He's my starting fantasy football receiver, so good stuff there. He had like a big day, like 28 points, 11 catches or something like that. Crazy.
How about Motor too, Mike? He had a nice day. We're in that 26. He had like 95 yards and a touchdown.
All right.
Repping the 26. I think whoever was on the call, I forget who was on the call, but he actually said Saquon Barkley. And he's like, oh, wait, that's not Saquon Barkley. That's Devin Singletary. Pretty cool. Yeah.
Any games you want to point out there, Jake?
Well, definitely the Packers and Colts game. I mean, I had some money on that game. I for sure thought the Colts were going to beat the brakes off the Packers, but here comes Malik Willis. That defense. I want to give my boy Rob Grosso a shout out. He's the defensive quality control coach for the Green Bay Packers. He's doing a fantastic job with that team right now. So, yeah, I mean, that defense is legit. And I'm very upset because I started the Eagles defense over the Packers defense. I had an option between two of them. And I took the Eagles D. Hopefully they show up tomorrow night. But yeah, definitely the Packers. Josh Jacobs, he had like 30-something carries for 151 yards today. I mean, I think it's safe to say he might be back.
Yeah.
Like he had a great week 1, comes off, does a hell of a thing today with his week 2 performance. So, yeah, I'd say that game. And how about the Buccaneers against the Lions?
Yes.
They went into Detroit. And the Lions had every opportunity to win that game, but the Buccaneers stayed the course. They did their thing, and Baker Mayfield, he's all the way back. Like he is. This is the greatest thing that could have ever happened for his career was going to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So
he's a top 10 quarterback.
That. I agree, 100%. I mean, with what he's doing there, he's gritty. He's a gamer. He puts his body on the line. I'm here for it. I'd almost say Josh Allen-esque. He's not in the same category, but he does things that Josh does. Where he's not afraid to take some shots and take control of the game. I love it.
Yeah, listen to his numbers. I mean, he was 12 and 19, didn't throw it a lot. Then after 185, had a touchdown, had 1 interception. Not like Josh Allen. Josh doesn't throw interceptions.
That's right.
Baker Mayfield did rush the ball 5 times for 34 yards and a touchdown, average 6.8. Very much like Josh Allen right there. But it helps when you got guys like Chris Godwin going off for 7 catches for 117 and a touchdown. Mike Evans is always tough. Mike only had 3 for 42. They didn't really run the ball very well, other than Baker Mayfield was their leading rusher. But was this more of, so I didn't get to see this. Let me look at Goff. Oh my God, Goff threw the ball 55 times, 2 interceptions. They ran the ball pretty well. Gibbs had 84 yards rushing. My guy, Amon-Ra St. Brown, finally, again, another fantasy football guy, 11 for 119, and Jamison Williams. So I don't watch that. So was that more of the Lions shooting themselves in the foot?
I think it was. I mean, especially Jared Goff. He threw a terrible interception in the red zone. And then, I think it was really a matter of the Buccaneers just kind of, well, I do want to say this. The Lions defense, Aiden Hutchinson, I think he had 4.5 sacks today. I mean, monster day from him. So the Lions defense didn't show up.
Holy crap.
But yeah, it was really their offense. I think they just kept shooting themselves in the foot. Amon-Ra St. Brown had 19 targets today. He caught 11 balls and had over 119 yards or something like that. So I think they did all they really could offensively, but when it came down to actually scoring in the red zone, they just couldn't get it done, plain and simple.
I want to give credit to Todd Bowles and that
Tampa
Bay defense that shut down the Kansas City Chiefs in that Super Bowl.
Yep, absolutely. He's one of the best. I mean, as far as defensive minds go, he knows his stuff. I mean, He's top 5 in that category, in my opinion.
What about I think isn't Brock Bowers, was he drafted this year?
By the Raiders.
By
Yeah,
the Raiders,
he had,
right?
he had
9
a
for
nice day.
98. Great
Yeah.
game.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So let's talk about our AFC East folks here, right? Because obviously we're an AFC East team. We kind of mentioned that, you know, what's it? Let me see here. Let me bring it up here.
Poor Philly Finn fan.
What's that?
Keith.
Poor Philly Finn fan.
I know. I love Keith, man. He's been going through it. I know. He even said that their group chat was very silent over the last few days, if I read that correctly. Is that right, Mike?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, they haven't been able to. Hopefully, they have. I was hoping to watch their show, not to kind of, beat up on them at all. I mean, I'm not gonna look. It's 2 weeks. A lot of things, and I look at what we did. We were 6-6 last year, almost out of the playoffs. There's nothing to kind of like beat your chest about, other than the fact you won the 2 games you should win. But the other AFC folks, the Patriots, like we mentioned, they were went to OT.
Yeah.
Had some opportunities to win that game. And Jessica, what's happened over there? Because they're competitive.
Yeah, they are competitive, but week 1, I think that the Bengals just didn't take them seriously and got surprised.
Yeah.
I think Seattle having to cross the entire continent and having to play at a 1:00 game in New England didn't benefit them, but they got the win. I would really like to see, when somebody knows the Patriots and can play the Patriots that way, how it turns out.
Well, they're looking like a better version of them last year, and they beat us last year. So,
I think they have a better quarterback this year right now.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Brissett. Jacoby. Yeah.
Yeah, he's solid, right? He's that quarterback who doesn't make the mistakes, tries to keep your team in the game. And, and their defense, that's what everyone talked about, that they should have a good defense this year. But, yeah, that was a great one. And then, Jake, were you surprised at all about the Jets in Tennessee and how hard that was of a victory for the Jets?
Yeah, I mean, you want to talk about throwing a game away. They basically did what the Dolphins did last week against Jacksonville. I mean, they squeaked it out at the very end, but a lot had to go right for them in order to do so, and I think Will Levis just kind of showed he's got a lot of growing to do if he wants to be a legitimate quarterback in this league. Yeah.
Early years Josh Allen.
Yeah, I would say even worse.
Yes.
Definitely worse, But yeah, I don't know what happened with the Jets today. It just took them too long to get going. But they figured it out. And I want to say Braylon Allen had himself a day. He had 2 touchdowns today, 1 receiving, 1 rushing, and a really nice receiving touchdown too by Breece Hall. Breece Hall is an absolute stud. They have to find ways to get him the football at least 20 to 25 times a game, for sure.
Yeah. Talk to me a little bit about Braylon Allen. I don't know much about him.
So Wisconsin guy, he's 240-something pounds, Mike. So we highlighted him a little bit, and he was taken in, I think it was the 4th round by the Jets.
Of this year.
And, bigger back, young kid. He's only 20 years old. He's actually the youngest player in the NFL. He's younger than Keon Coleman even. And I think he's the 2nd youngest player ever to score a rushing touchdown this early on in his career. So pretty cool to see. Like the 2nd youngest since like a guy from the 1930s or something. So pretty crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty evenly matched. If you look at the stats from both teams, pretty darn close. What are you thinking of? How's Aaron Rodgers looking to you, Jessica, so far through 2 games?
I think he's struggling. The national media, YouTube pundits, all declaring that this amazing connection between Aaron Rodgers and Garrett Wilson was just going to take over the NFL, and they've had 2 games together. That's it. And I don't think they're connected at all at this point. I really think that they need to get their timing down. The offensive line is not doing as well as they need to. They're doing great running the ball, but not pass blocking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
agree with what you said there. It's like no different than watching Tim Boyle throw to Garrett Wilson last year. As far as like the chemistry and connection
Yeah.
goes, like they aren't there yet.
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers can still sling it. I mean, he definitely,
Yeah.
the arm talent is still there.
For sure.
He just can't really move. He can't move as well. And I think when you have that lack of chemistry with the teammates that you're around, and, you know, he didn't play football for a full year, and just coming back into the game at age 40 off that type of injury, and you already don't have the chemistry, like that's, you know, that's a lot to ask for. So I think it's going to take some time still.
Jake, you're a fan of his, but I've noticed, and I don't know if it's because of the injury, coming off the injury, like he's throwing off the back foot a lot. Like he kind of
always has.
Has he always done that? That's his style? All right. I didn't know if that was kind of like him trying to protect the Achilles.
But he doesn't have the advantage of threatening to run any longer, which usually opened up a few things that they had to at least put a spy on him at times.
Yep. That's so true. Yeah, he's just, I mean, bricks out there basically for feet right now. It's tough. It's tough for him right now, for sure.
We can get him and Dan Marino and Jim Kelly in a race.
All right, I think you'd still probably beat both those guys. They were slow.
So?
Oh, yeah.
Dan was, oh my God, Dan.
Yeah, that was tough.
Molasses.
Weston, we squeaked one out today. So listen, let's go back. This was a very good game. Chad says it was awful. We did not deserve to win the game at all. PM15 nearly cost us. They're just chatting about the game. Left tackle was an abomination today. Let's see. And Weston, he's sticking to his guns here. And no, the refs did not win us the game. And let's see. Chad saying it was defensive pass. Oh, yeah, it was DPI for sure. I said that at the beginning of the show.
Yeah.
I know I mentioned it. I'm with you, Weston. I even put the rules in the Discord. By the way, the Discord is free to join. Check it out. Jessica, where are you at in the Discord?
Yeah, Jess, you got to join.
It's free.
I'm a busy girl, but
we all are.
I will try.
You can get it on your phone.
Okay.
Jessica, you can get it on your phone. You don't have to always go in there. It'll just give you a little message. But we talk. We got all kinds of sports threads in there. It'd be great to have you.
Okay.
Not only will you be the first female on Nickel City Mafia broadcasting with us, but you could be the first female in the Discord too. I think a lot of females are afraid.
Yeah, I don't think we have any.
We don't.
I don't think we do have any. Yeah.
Let's go, Jessica. Be the first for us.
Listen, you're breaking the barrier right now. This is pretty impressive.
Exactly.
I'd love to see it.
If I have time, I will.
There we go.
Awesome,
all right.
Awesome. All right. Yeah. Weston saying, get in there, Jess. Let's see. And he says, yeah, it's so fun. Yeah, we talk all the time. And everyone, like, Weston keeps it up. I mean, he's one of the best beat writers out there. I think he has a job for a team. He doesn't let us know yet. But this guy gets breaking news, and I don't know where he's getting it from, but he's breaking news before it's been released anywhere else. I don't know what his source is, but pretty cool, Weston.
Yeah, it's crazy how fast he gets on top of that stuff. And we do, so Jess, we do have a Chiefs thread in there because we do have, two diehards here. They come on Nickel City Mafia all the time. Shout out to Chad and Weston. You guys are phenomenal. And they are the best of the biz as far as Chiefs news goes. So we do have a Chiefs thread. They put a lot of stuff in there. We have a Finns one as well because of Keith. And listen,
haven't started the Jets one, Jessica. We drew the line for a Jets thread. No.
Oh, okay. I'm glad. Okay, you said we didn't. I thought you said we just started the Jets one.
We drew the line there. And like I said,
you have to draw the line at a team that has not won more than 4 AFC East titles.
There we go.
You got to have at least 5 or 6, like the Colts do.
Yep.
Jake, if you're going to be on the summit, you make sure Anthony, show some respect. This guy's talking the smack that he's been talking about his Bills.
I think he'll cool down a little bit just because of what he's been seeing with his team lately.
Yeah, Weston, you're the newsbreaker. Yes. Yeah. I just can't see where to. It's a gift and a curse. Well,
yeah, I'd say
this guy, he was ruining the draft for us. He knew all the draft picks before anyone was releasing it. Don't know where he's getting that from. It was almost like he was there. But yeah, some good. So the NFL, I mean, again, 2 weeks in, it's kind of hard. To me, it's always around 5 weeks. 5 weeks to me, I don't know about you two, is when you start to really get the identity of teams and all right, this team is for real. They're going to be doing something. Is it earlier or later for you guys?
Yeah, I would actually say even later, Mike. I mean, you get down to like week 8, week 9, that's when it really starts to matter a little bit more. I mean, you look at the Buffalo Bills last year. We're 6-6. We're sitting at 6-6. You didn't even think we were going to make the playoffs at a certain point, right?
Yeah.
And then we just ran the table and rattled off 5 regular season wins in a row.
Well, we have such a tough schedule. After 5 weeks, we'll know where we're standing, right?
We are
Right.
front loaded on the schedule.
Yeah.
You know,
Mhm.
these next after Jacksonville, those 3
Oof.
away games, they're going to say a lot. I'll be happy if we go 2-2 the next 4.
Okay.
So 4-2
Yeah.
after 6 weeks.
Yeah.
With that schedule, if you would have said that to me, I'd be like, yeah, that'd be fantastic. And we've got a real shot at it now. Got a real shot. Jacksonville always gives us a tough time, but
Mhm.
they're not looking that great. But it's, again, you can't take every team week to week. A team can just turn it around, but they seem to be struggling so far. I don't know what's going on.
When Jacksonville plays us in Buffalo, though, it's not as hard of a time for whatever reason. When we play at Jacksonville or in London,
Or in London.
for whatever reason, we have a hard time against them. So
Yeah.
I'm confident about this one.
You know, we got Jacksonville, we got Baltimore, we got the Texans, and then
Yeah.
we go to the Jets.
The Jets.
Ooh.
Yeah. That's quite a
Yeah.
slate.
It
And
is.
what is it? Three of those 4 are all primetime games.
Yeah.
Pretty crazy.
And I think they're on the road. I think. Don't we go on a 3-game road trip?
It's Baltimore on the road. Yeah, it is. Baltimore, Houston, and then New York. Wow.
Sunday Night
That is
Football.
crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, I think Jacksonville's we are at home that game.
Yes.
I believe.
Yep.
Yeah, and then
For
we
the
go
first
on a
time in
3-game.
5 years, we're home.
I know, that's crazy, isn't it? Yeah.
All right. Well, listen,
Yeah.
we're gonna finish this up with giving our week 3 early power rankings. Why let the bigger media do it all the time? Why let they always do their top 10 or they go through all the teams. Well, we're gonna do just top 10. But first, and I want the channel to help us out here a little bit. I'm gonna give you a recap coming in. This is NFL.com. There's other folks that do their power rankings, but I'm gonna use NFL.com. And this is the rankings coming into this week. Number 1, of course, the Chiefs. And I think we can all say
Yeah, the stay.
they haven't moved, right? And even if they would have lost, would you have moved them?
Yes,
Would you?
I would have
Interesting.
down a peg or 2, but not.
All right. Well, let me go through the 10, and then you tell me maybe where you would have moved them. Number 2 with the Niners. Again, they lose. Number 3 with the Lions. They lose.
Mhm.
Eagles, we don't know. They play tomorrow. Number 4. Ravens at number 5. They lose.
Mhm.
Texans at number 6.
They're winning.
They won that game, right?
They're winning.
16-10.
Oh, it's
Yeah,
a close
they're
one.
Right now,
winning.
they're
Dang.
winning. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So still up in the air. And the Bills at number 7. Cowboys at number 8. They're dropping outside the 10. Come on, after getting whooped. Dolphins at number 9. Bengals at 10. Dolphins lost.
Gone.
Bengals lost. So a lot of these teams in the top 10 coming out with a loss.
Mhm.
You got Packers at 11. I'm just going to go through 15. And then, if you think of another team that just rockets up inside the 10, let me know. Chargers are at 12. Jets are at 13. Rams are at 14. Bears at 15. I'll go a little bit further because the Buccaneers, as we mentioned, had a great performance today. They're at 16. And then the Saints were all the way at 24. But we're only looking at the top 10.
Mhm.
So, Jessica, based on what I told you, the top 10, if the Chiefs lose, 49ers lost, Lions lost, so they're not going to move below them. We don't know what the Eagles, Ravens lost. Are you really moving them down a peg?
I moved them down behind the Eagles and the Bills.
Oh, all right. I love it.
And put them at number 3 if they had lost.
If they had lost. All right. Number
Love
2, the Niners. They lost. Obviously, we can't rank them number 2. Are they falling outside the top 10 or are they staying
No.
there for you guys?
They're staying in for me.
They would stay for sure. Yep.
It's
Where are
a
you
road
putting them, though?
game.
Where are you putting them? Not keeping them at 2.
I think I'd keep them in my top 5, maybe right at 5.
Okay.
For me.
I have them at 6.
Yeah, I'm at 6. All right. Let me put these here. I want to track this. All right. At number 3 were the Lions. They lost.
They
But they look-
lost at home.
Yep.
and I put them like at number 9 or 8.
I think
So
that's
keeping
fair.
them inside that top 10.
Yes.
Okay.
Those are the only 2 teams that deserve to still be in it with 1 loss.
Okay. Now the Eagles are at number 4. If they win, where do you see them moving? Are they moving to
The 2.
number 2?
Yeah, they
Okay.
definitely would move up. Yeah.
With a loss?
It's a tough loss to Atlanta.
Is it in Atlanta or is it in Philly?
I actually don't know. That's a good question.
Let's see. Just a second here. It's in Philly.
Okay. Yeah, that's
If they lose to, I don't think they're going to lose to Atlanta.
no chance.
Okay.
I
okay.
don't. I would.
All right. So you think if they win, they're moving up to they'll be the number 2 in the power rankings.
Number 2.
Okay. Make a note here.
The Bills should be number 3 as far as I'm concerned. They beat this Cardinals team that just rocked the world against the Rams, and they destroyed the Miami Dolphins that everybody thought was going to win the AFC East if it wasn't going to beat the Jets. So I have to think that the Bills right now are number 3 and have a lot of room to improve.
Okay. I love it.
Yep.
So right now we got the Chiefs at 1. I'm gonna put the Eagles at 2 because you're confident with the win there. If they lose, obviously that changes. We got the Bills at number 3.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have a 4th spot yet, so we got to fill that. We got the Niners. I put the Niners at 5. Like you said, Jessica, you said 5 or 6.
5 or 6. Yeah, I have them at number 6.
All right, so the Texans were number 6. If they get a win, are they taking over that 4th spot?
I have the Bucks taking the 4th spot.
I like that.
Now listen to this. Wait a minute here. You're saying a number 16th power ranking is shooting up the board that far?
They have proven that they belong, and they won their division last year.
Yeah,
this is not a team that's coming out of nowhere. They won a division last year and played well in the playoffs. They didn't get blown out.
You agreeing with this, Jake?
100%. You got to remember they almost beat the Lions in the playoffs last year too in Detroit, and then they got some revenge today by beating them in Detroit. So
it was a close game in the playoffs.
When you look at this team too, I mean they're pretty complete. I know they just had a big injury with Vita Vea. That's going to hurt a little bit, but they got some studs on that defense too, led by Levante David, who by the way has been there through it all. The last 10 seasons at least. But I love Antoine Winfield. I think Jamel Dean is a pretty good player too. You got Joe Tryon Shoyanka as well, Logan Hall, William Golston, a bunch of other guys on that defense. And then Chris Godwin, by the way, who I still think is super underrated. He kind of always is in the shadows for whatever reason. And Mike Evans is also super underrated. This guy's a Hall of Fame receiver, and people still aren't giving him his flowers. So, yeah, I think I like the Buccaneers, man. I love them at 4. I think that's a great move, guys.
All right.
I'm with you on that.
All right.
Absolutely.
Okay. Majority rules. Yep. By the way, I'm coughing. I'm still getting over whatever I had last week, but so excuse me. Chiefs at number 1. We have 4. Eagles at 2. Bills at 3. Buccaneers shoot all the way up to 4 from the 16th spot. Big. Niners at 5. They drop down 3 spots. All right. Now we're at the Texans sitting at number 6. So
yes.
Are they sitting there? They're staying there, right?
I had them at 5, but we can have them at 6.
Okay. It might be fair. Yeah, I think the Niners, if you match those 2 teams up against each other, I think I'll give it to the Niners in that one. So yeah, 5 Niners.
5.
6.
Okay. So Texans stay where they are at 6. Mm-hmm. All right, you got the 7th spot, which was the
Vikings.
Bills. You got the Vikings.
Nice.
Okay.
I will make an argument for the Saints just because but the Vikings beat the Niners. So maybe we do put the Vikings there just because. Mm-hmm. They still, outside of the quarterback position, which they were without Kirk Cousins half the year last year anyways. And Sam Darnold looks really good. Like Kevin O'Connell is the quarterback whisperer apparently. So
all right.
Yeah, I think we got to put the Vikings there. I agree.
The Vikings were at the 20th spot, and the Saints were at 25 coming into this week.
Okay.
So they're
Yeah.
shooting up, both of them shooting up the boards in a big way. And all right, so Vikings move up to number 7. All right, number 8 and number 9 probably drop out. Actually, 8, 9, and 10. You got the Cowboys, Dolphins, and Bengals all losing. Right behind them, you got the Packers, Chargers, and Jets, Rams, Bears.
Packers.
Packers move up.
Packers. Yeah.
I agree with that.
Would
That
you?
was just,
Yeah,
yeah.
I think so. Based on today's performance, that defense is
Mhm.
legit too. Like they are, and once Jordan Love does come back too, they're going to be
Mhm.
even more dangerous. So they almost beat Philly in Week 1.
yeah. All right, let me ask you this, because we have currently the Packers at 8. We had the Lions fall down to 9. You think the Lions still deserve to be behind the Packers?
I'm with Weston. Sorry to kind of get off base here.
Yeah.
I think you have to put the Saints in the top 10 here. So
Really?
I feel like, yeah, I think it's been 2 very impressive performances. I mean, they're the highest scoring team in football. And I know they beat the Panthers Week 1, but then they do this in Dallas. You know, I thought that was a very impressive win. And they look
Mhm.
good. They look consistent.
Well, you got the Saints at 24. This would be one of the biggest moves.
Yeah.
Cardinals right behind them. But yeah, okay.
2
You
and
good with that, Jessica? Who was your number 10? Because they're going to move right
It's
up to
the
10. Who's that?
Lions. Okay.
The Lions was my number 10.
Okay, so we had the Lions at 9. If I move the Lions to 10, are you shooting New Orleans all the way up to 9?
I am. I have the Saints at number 9.
Wow.
Okay.
All right, let's do this.
They went into Dallas and just crushed them.
Yep.
All
They
right.
really did. I mean, it was, yeah.
So our top 10. You don't
And
need
number
to go
11, I have the Seahawks.
Seahawks?
Ooh,
Really?
I like that.
Mm-hmm. They're 2-0.
More than the Steelers?
Yeah.
Yeah,
They're a better team than the Steelers. The Steelers win
Oh.
ugly, but yeah.
The
Seahawks almost lost to the
Steelers beat the
Patriots.
Broncos, and I don't think the Broncos are still not a good team.
Right.
All right.
And
And
the
the
Steelers,
chart-
who did they play Week 1? I'm trying to remember.
Just a
The
second, I'll
Falcons.
get it.
It was the Falcons. Yeah.
The Falcons.
That was an ugly
yeah.
game. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the Chargers, they're 2-0. You think they just had some kind of weak opponents, right? They had Carolina the first week, I
Carolina
think.
Panthers.
And then who they
Yeah.
play this week?
They
It was
played
Carolina.
the Panthers.
Oh,
this
and who they beat week 1?
Week 1, it was
The
the
Raiders.
Raiders. Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yep.
All right. So here's how we have our top. We'll go top 12. We got the Chiefs still sitting at 1, even though Weston says, I don't think they should be at 1. But who would you put at 1? They're the champs,
Hey.
Weston. Come on.
Look at
They're
what
2-0.
Weston did
They're
here.
going to win
The
some ugly
Saints.
games. You got no way the Saints jump up to 1. Come on. What's going on here? Are you kidding me? This would be the biggest jump in history in week 3. But here we go. Let's talk about it. Chiefs, number 1. Eagles at 2, if they win, which everyone expects them to. Bills move up to number 3. Buccaneers jump way up the board at number 4. Niners fall 3 spots to number 5. Texans at number 6. They stay where they were. Vikings shoot up to number 7 with the big win over the Niners. Packers move up to number 8. And they only moved up, let's see, 1, 2. They moved up 3 spots. The Saints with the biggest jump. They jumped to spot number 9. And then we got the Lions at 10, Seahawks at 11, and then Chargers and Jets staying 12 and 13. Look at that. I think we're gonna have to check it out. And if I put our ranking over anybody else's, so and we got Weston. Let's see, what did Weston have? I want to bring that up again. So we had 1 Saints, 2 Chiefs, 3 Bills. Okay, 4 Eagles. We have the Eagles moving into number 2. Oh, and Chad, the Chief. Chad,
My goodness, Chad.
you are.
Thank you so
amazing.
much.
Yes, we really appreciate.
We need
that.
to get that. We need to get him and Weston. Honestly, both of you guys. We got.
I don't know why
on the show.
it's hard to get Weston on. I don't know what the deal is, but he's holding out like Jessica, and haven't been able to get that
Wants
magic
more
number
money.
from him. But Chad has been on, and we got. I was gonna bring him on tonight to talk about the Chiefs game, but a lot of things going on today. I had to throw this together pretty quickly. So I appreciate you two coming on and joining me tonight. But yeah, Chad, thank you so much. Week after week, come out here, support us. It gives us the confidence that we're doing something good. So we appreciate you, and I love you that you're out there in the Discord. Again, the Discord's free to join. All you got to do is I think I was rushing. I didn't even put the link in our description, but I'll add that after. Join our Discord. All these guys are out there. Got different threads. If we get enough fans, we love all fan bases. It's fun. It's respectful over there. We're not like Twitter. We're not like X. We don't allow that kind of stuff going on over there.
That's right.
People beating each other up. But again, thanks again, Chad. Really appreciate that. Man, I tell you,
I like those power rankings too. So he has he's kind of in agreement with a lot of what we said. So he does still have the Ravens in there though.
Like I said, the fact that they've lost 2 and they had big losses on the offensive and defensive lines and in the free agents, I can't put them in the top 10 at this point.
Yeah.
It's fair. Yeah.
What I'm going to do is I would make a little image of this. I'm going to put it on our community tab, so you'll be able to see it on our on YouTube. We'll post our week 3 early power top 10 rankings. All right. Well, I'm about to cough and ruin this stream, so we're going to end it today.
I hope you feel better, Mike.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm
Yes.
feeling a little better. It's just everything's kind of, you get to that cough time when you're trying to clear everything out.
And you have a perfect time to convince your son to become a Bills fan full time.
I know. I'm going to run over there to his game
Take
real quick.
advantage.
It's halfway through, but I'll catch a little bit of it. So, Jessica, thanks for joining us. Buffalo Barbie Doll, Jessica Tennis on our show. She's brought a whole new chemistry to the group. I mean, she brings a lot of things. She argues with me all the time. She says, I disagree with you, Mike. I disagree with you. Jake barely disagrees with me. So this is
we
new
need
for
that.
me.
We need that.
We need that.
Yeah.
Keep us in line.
What makes it fun?
Exactly. Appreciate
sure.
you. All right, everyone. Hey, thank you again, guys, on the channel. We'll talk to you in the Discord. I know we will. But good guy. What's going on? What's the latest score, real quick, for the game tonight?
Let's take a look. We got, let's see, 16-10 Texans at the end of the third over the Bears.
All right. Good game. And then tomorrow games, Philly. Who else?
Philly and Atlanta.
All right. We'll join the AFC East Summit on Tuesday. They'll be talking about some things, and I definitely want to hear Anthony showing some respect, Jake. That's on you. If you're going to make that show, make sure it happens.
You got
Jessica,
it.
she'll be out. Best. I know Jessica will be out there in the chat, making sure he does as well. So, all right. Take care, everyone. Go Bills.
Go Bills.
Go Bills.